Coming up on this week's edition of your MCTV Weekday Update, we show you what got tech students on their feet to help support a cause.
Plus, the hustle and bustle of the holidays can bring you one gift you'd rather not receive. Find out how to keep you and your family in good health.
And later, as the semester closes, final exams quickly approach. We take a look at what some students are using for an alternative study aid.
From the College of Mass Communications on the campus of Texas Tech University, this is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of your MCTV Update. I'm Keith Kohanek.
And I'm Stacy Sladen. In an effort to encourage students to give a little this holiday season, an organized group created a new campaign that influenced people to get up and move. Eric Boyd found out why dancing helps boost donations.
A group of students conducted a flash mob dance scene to grab students' attention outside of the Student Union building to help create awareness for the Tech Can Share food drive. Genevieve Durham DeCicero hopes the unique approach helps bring in more food than normal.
I think that having a large visual event like a flash mob is something that really brings attention to a specific cause or purpose, a little more so than just talking and asking for donations.
The Tech Can Share food drive is partnering with the South Plains Food Bank to help create awareness and raise food for the needy. The food bank is hoping the can drive will help them reach their overall goals for the holiday season. David Weaver says he enjoyed the flash mob and is optimistic about the pounds of food the university can donate.
You know, a unique way to get it kicked off, and we had a really good time with that, I think. And you know, so we had some kids asking about it afterwards, and so our goal with the Tech Can Share food drive is to raise about 15,000 pounds of food. And so I had a can of buttered beans that we started out with, and I think it's growing from there.
Weaver says he hopes the food drive is more than just collecting cans. He wants Tech students to take more from the lessons they learn than the food they give.
But it also creates an awareness among Tech students of what the needs of the hungry are. And when you're at Tech, you're going to learn many lessons. You're going to get an education that you go out with and maybe get a job with, but you'll also learn things of the heart that you'll carry with you for the rest of your life.
For MCTV, I'm Eric Boyd.
There's no doubt Texas Tech University has a major economic impact on the city of Lubbock, and in a region that is football obsessed, Tech delivers both on and off the field. Sportscaster David Collier hosts a pregame show on his network for each Tech game. He says interest is huge.
That's how we know if there's interest, you know. If they want us to do a pregame show and people can sell it, our sales department can sell it, and enough people buy enough spots, then obviously there's interest.
Collier said it's common to lead a newscast with Tech football, given its popularity and the impact economically is immense.
The Student Government Association of Texas Tech is breaking the barrier between legislation and the rest of the student body. SGA has been working on a website called My Senate, which allows students to voice opinions as well as be informed. External Vice President of SGA, Tyler Patton, says this site can provide clarity and an understanding of what students want.
Better ability to represent students more accurately rather than us just try and shoot in the dark and hope it works. Because I think that is the last thing that we should be doing, is making decisions on assumptions.
My Senate was launched November 9th and will be live every Monday at 8 a.m.
Texas Tech celebrated one of its many traditions this past week as graduating seniors took part in the university's ring ceremony. The Tech Student Alumni Association presented each student with their class ring. Senior Vice President of Student Affairs, Dr. Michael Schonrock, says the ring ceremony is a memorable tradition for the students.
My heart it's an unbelievable feeling at commencements when those students are told to take the ring and turn it over, and the expression, the enthusiasm, you can't ask for better Red Raider pride.
The ring ceremony has been a tradition revived from the 50s and has been celebrated since 1999.
Midterm elections took place early November, and local political organizations are voicing their opinion about the results. Henry Ramos spoke with local and Texas Tech political activists to find out their plans for the 2012 election.
$1.50, $1.30, $1.50 prices.
$1.50 is the price tag for cotton, and this local cotton grower happens to also be the chairman for the Lubbock County Republican Party. Chris Wynn says the Americans that turned out to the voting polls in the midterm elections early November finally opened their eyes.
Now the American people are awake. Tea Party or Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. We're all awake and we're watching.
Wynn says it doesn't matter which party anyone is affiliated with, the American people want things to happen.
If we're going to have to pay the cost of the deficits, of bailouts, of TARP, of health care, then we're going to watch you. And if you don't produce, it doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or Democrat, we're going to turn you out in 2012.
Texas Tech student and president of the Progressive Party, Jack McCloskey, says he did not see change happen in this past election.
While it doesn't appear to bode well for progressivism in general, I think the whole election cycle really had to do more with what's happening in the country right now. I really don't think we saw a huge ideological shift.
McCloskey also says the shift from this past election does not really show any sign of progress.
I feel like as a democracy, change is one of the greatest gifts we have, and the ability to vote for change and affect change. And, you know, while the people didn't make this statement clear, my personal opinion feels like it wasn't the best towards actually making progress.
Chairman for the Young Conservatives at Tech, Jeff Morris, disagrees with McCloskey and says he is content with the results of the election.
We think it's very obvious that the people were upset with what the current administration was doing, and they voted and spoke. I mean, not only in Texas did we have a huge change, it was all across the nation.
All representatives from the different political organizations disagree on the outcome of the election, but all agree and say it is crucial for the future generations to get involved. Reporting for MCTV News, I'm Henry Ramos.
While in the era of new technology, some may argue newspapers are dead, others declare they're here to stay. Gilbert Esparza finds out why staying connected helps keep community newspapers afloat.
Russell Skiles, publisher at the La Mesa Press Reporter in La Mesa, Texas, says that even though newer and faster technology has arrived in the newsroom, the newspaper's here to stay for a while.
You know, they kind of said the same thing, I think, when radio came around and then when TV came around. It's just an adjustment go through. You know, it's been handled differently in different papers as far as how to handle the internet, and it's still a question that's trying to be resolved, you know.
Skiles says being in touch with the consumer is important to be a successful community newspaper.
The reason the small newspapers aren't having that much of a problem is we're so connected to our audience. You know, we see them every day, whether in the grocery store or going to church or activities. You know, we get feedback from our audience, you know, multiple times every day.
Mario Dimas, plant foreman at the Press Reporter, says the company is actually printing more newspapers.
I mean, here, we've been covered up more these last 2.5 years than we have before. I mean, like today, usually I used to just print 5 runs. I'm up to 9 runs on a Saturday.
Skiles says the company is incorporating new media one step at a time.
Their website is basically the only one we've stepped up to, you know, as far as the newspaper end. You know, we're looking at Facebook and some of those other things, but we're just not there yet, partly because of staff and partly because of the economics, whether you can make any money and survive.
He says even though new technology is being used more elsewhere, for now his focus is still on the core product, the newspaper.
Print product is still what pays our way, and we want to protect that and be sure we're not hurting that by going too far to the website if we're not getting some return in the same way.
For MCTV, I'm Gilbert Esparza.
Still to come, how to keep your immune system up during the rush of holidays.
And we look at a new state law that may keep your children out of harm's way.
Americans is struggling with hunger. Who's the 1 in 8 in your life? You can help today. Visit feedingamerica.org/1in8 to find your local food bank.
So, do you have any questions?
What is your soup of the day?
We have a mulligatawny soup.
Oh, do you have any specials?
We have a steak special today.
Oh, how's that cooked?
That's pan-seared and then...
Does it come with a side dish? Is it grilled? Can I have it steamed? So, what do you recommend? What kind of pie do you have? You're an actor. Aren't you from Ohio?
Any questions?
Ask questions. For the 10 questions everyone should know, go to ahrq.gov.
Global warming is a problem.
It's a problem.
I wanted to do something to become more energy efficient.
To protect the environment.
To protect the future.
So I turned to Energy Star for help.
Energy Star is helping me be part of the solution.
Everyone can join the fight against global warming. Go to EnergyStar.gov to learn what you can do.
Together,
we can all make a difference.
In 1990, in Severn, Maryland, the daughter of a clergyman was discovered by a music industry insider while pumping gas at a service station. The odds of her getting signed and spending 11 weeks at #1 on the U.S. singles charts? 1 in 19 million. The odds of this former church choir singer going on to sell 40 million records? 1 in 15 million. The odds of the same woman winning 6 Grammy Awards and starring in 2 Broadway plays? 1 in 75 million. The odds of this musician and performer having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 110. I'm Toni Braxton, and I encourage you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference.
Welcome back to your MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Alma Olivas.
And I'm Kate Leopard. In the era of technology, electronic devices such as cell phones seem to consume most of our attention. However, a new state law may have you think twice before picking up that phone while driving. Henry Ramos has the story.
A blinking yellow light is commonly seen in a school zone, but a new sign right next to it is now all around the 52 school zones in Lubbock. The next time you start your car and make your commute, a new law is in effect in regards to using your cell phone. You might want to think twice about picking up that cell phone while behind the wheel and driving through a school zone. State law now enforces a fine with a price tag of up to $200. Communications Director for Lubbock Independent School District Nancy Sharp says the school district is there for education, but is also there for safety.
A family drops off their child at school, their first choice, their first consideration is they want to know their student is going to be safe during the school day. We're there about education, but safety of our students first.
Governor Perry signed the state cell phone law in 2009, but the city of Lubbock put up the signs all around the school zones earlier this year. Chief of Police with LISD Mark Henshaw says safety is his obvious #1 concern, but responsibility lies within the hands of the drivers.
At the core of what I do for a living is protecting children. That is paramount to me and what I do. So we believe it's essential that drivers, whether they're in a school zone, out on the street, or the open highway, they commit all of their attention to the task at hand, which is operating a motor vehicle.
Education technology teacher at Lubbock High School, John Fullerton, tells me cell phones are a huge distraction for students behind the wheel and behind the desk.
They text, they try to call, they think that their lifeline is their cell phone. And we have a huge problem with it.
Fullerton says this is a #1 killer for teenagers, but is glad a law like this is in place.
This is a great starting point. It is a huge starting point to keep the safety of the students as well as the safety of the drivers.
The law, which is House Bill 55, states drivers can use a hands-free device but cannot pick up and answer
"What happened?"
or send text messages in school crossing zones. Reporting for MCTV News, I'm Henry Ramos.
Lubbock area healthcare providers are preparing for flu season as temperatures decline. Troy Burke, pharmacist for Market Street, says his office has administered more than 2,000 flu vaccinations, the effects of which are not instant.
It usually takes 2 weeks for the vaccine to provide complete immunity, so it's always good to kind of get it just as early as you can.
Burke says flu season runs through late March and patients should be vaccinated yearly.
Lubbock may be full of history, but one museum in particular aims to educate and entertain. Kristen Bologlu uncovers the history behind West Texas windmills.
In West Texas, wind is a common occurrence, and as the wind keeps these restored mills moving, it is a reminder of how far technology has come. With over 200 windmills, weights, and pumps on display, the American Wind Power Center showcases an important part of history and wants visitors to understand how early pioneers used windmills to develop this country. Administrator Assistant Tanya Meadows says the museum will be influential for generations to come.
So it's a real big important part of the history of Lubbock in order to have the windmills here.
Billy Wolf and Coy Harris, founders of the museum, wanted this place to be educational, historical, and fun. Wolf wanted to find a unique set of windmills to keep in one place and wound up with the farm's first collection.
The Smithsonian was trying to buy 2 of them, and she told him if he would sell her the whole lot, that she would make sure that they had a home and could be enjoyed by future generations.
Since the first purchase of those windmills in 1992, the nonprofit organization has flourished, and visitors can see windmills from all around the country that are donated or bought. There are also demonstrations of windmill pumps and explanation of wind energy and how new windmills are being used. The museum relies on donations, tour fees, and gift shop purchases to keep open. The windmill farm also has a large reception area which can be rented out for any occasion. Texas Tech student and volunteer at the museum, Rachel Anderson-Reed, agrees with Meadows about the importance of the windmill farm.
It represents our agricultural background, and it really shows Lubbock's history because we're really an agricultural community.
Experts and enthusiasts are on hand to answer any questions and to also greet the visitors, including a windmill-loving cat named Perkins. For MCTV, I'm Kristen Bologlu.
Coming up next is the pressure of exams forcing some students to use an alternative study aid that may be potentially harmful.
And we give you a closer look into the life of a local cotton farmer.
You were the last to be born in a family of 7 brothers. That's why you had to sleep on the 7th bunk bed and you developed vertigo. And that's why you couldn't become a pilot and you had to study engineering. You patented 367 inventions, but only 3 made it to market. The Clap Clap Candle, the Lazy Runners, and the Frit and Go. That's why you don't have an apartment on the 16th floor, and you have it on the 5th. But that's where you met Carmen. After 237 dates, you finally proposed. With her, you had 3 children. The 4th ended up being a dog. It's not the same, but he adores you. Numbers change your life. That's why you should take control of your credit score by keeping your credit card balances low. For more tips, visit numberschangeyourlife.org.
Today, about 1 in 5 Americans is living with a disability. Over 50 million people, including many of our friends and neighbors, teachers and co-workers, heroes and leaders. 20 years ago, the Americans with Disabilities Act guaranteed every person the right to live, work, and participate fully in the American experience. We've come a long way since then, and we are committed to making even more progress in the years ahead. Visit disability.gov to see how you can help.
Thanks. You believe this guy?
Are you trying to start a wildfire?
Sorry. Pass the honey?
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
I'm lucky. Let me help you with that. I get to do something I love. It has nothing to do with touchdowns or titles.
Everybody bring it in.
I get to play a part in the life of someone just starting out.
How many of you think homework is just as important as teamwork?
I help keep kids in school.
Good.
And that's the name of the game.
My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United.
Your news continues. Welcome back to your MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Henry Ramos.
And I'm Kristen Bologlu. Not only do women need to be aware of breast cancer, but men too have been diagnosed with the illness.
Though the diagnosis in men is rare, according to Susan G. Komen Mission Coordinator Allison Lewis, more than 1,900 men will obtain this disease by the end of this year.
I can't speak for other organizations, but Komen, we will always speak to male organizations, and we do speak to males. When we go out and speak or when we go out and educate our community, we do include males, and we always, in our speeches, let men know that they can get breast cancer.
Until there is an increase in diagnosis, Lewis says at this point an awareness campaign for men is unnecessary.
The middle of the semester has come, and students are faced with an overload of midterms. With the anxiety that comes from multiple exams and limited time to study, students are relying more than coffee to endure a long night of studying.
October 17th marked the halfway point in Tech's fall 2010 academic calendar, a time of year that brings midterm exams and lots of studying. Prescription medications like Adderall and Ritalin are used by some college students as study medications. Professor of Pharmacy Practice and Regional Dean for Lubbock Programs, Dr. Charles Seifert, says these medications can increase attention.
Ritalin and Adderall, they're both similar substances. They're amphetamine-related compounds, and essentially it is, I would say, a milder form of crystal meth.
Seifert says these medications are normally prescribed to children with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. In children, the medicine is meant to stimulate dopamine receptors in the brain, which would result in a calming effect. But in a person without ADHD, the effect could be the opposite.
In a normal person, what you're going to see is hyperactivity. They're going to get probably more hyperactive. Now, they may still be able to concentrate better, but they may also become distracted easier.
Senior political science major from Houston, Reese Fickus, has been prescribed Adderall since he was 5. Fickus says he now uses it for school and notices a difference in his concentration.
After I take it, I definitely feel more focused. I can, however, find myself being distracted in an effective manner, where I will decide that I need to clean my room and clean my entire room before I notice that it's been 30 minutes and I should have been working on homework.
While the short-term effect may sound harmless or even desirable to aid studying the night before a test, Seifert says the long-term effects can be deadly.
And then serious things can happen because they're taking a lot more of it than probably they should be, and they're taking it for longer durations, and they may have a family history of diabetes or be overweight or have high lipids, and now all of a sudden you've got a student with a stroke on your hands or someone who's got a heart attack.
Tech police say a student without a prescription caught with these medications could be arrested for possession of narcotics. For MCTV News, I'm Keith Kohanek.
When thinking of farming and the lifestyle it provides, one might think of it as a slow living. It may be that, but cotton farmer Derek Jenkins shows us that the stress of this demanding lifestyle is comparable to that of any other.
The life of a farmer may be portrayed in many ways, but for Gaines County farmer Derek Jenkins, the busy workload is something he embraces.
I guess there's just always something to do. You're never bored. There's always something you can do. Even when you get caught up, there's stuff to do, stuff that needs to be done.
From coordinating his farmhands to repairing broken machinery, a farmer's job is more than just the manual labor involved.
It's almost every kind of work. I mean, you got to know how to mechanic some. You've got to know how to be a good bookkeeper, how far you can stretch your budget, how much money you got left. When to sell, marketing is a big aspect of it.
Dealing with the financial and marketing issues can be time-consuming. But for Derek, managing his time for daily routines is something that he has always known.
I don't know any difference, an 8-to-5 job, or I don't know any of that, never had that. So, just being around my dad all them years, the late hours, that's just the only thing I know.
Dealing with the West Texas weather is something that all local farmers face. The stress of knowing that a single storm can destroy an entire crop is something that takes time to get used to.
Stress-wise, it's, some years we don't make nothing, and so if we do have a disaster, we've had it before. The longer you farm, the less probably stressful it is.
Regardless of the busy lifestyle or the stress involved in farming, the ambition to complete the task keeps this farmer going.
Whatever it takes to get it done.
For MCTV, I'm Eric Boyd.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
After a car accident, Linda Davis needed CPR. Bill Hamilton needed temporary shelter when a fire destroyed his home. During an operation, Haley Reynolds needed a blood transfusion.
Excuse me, may I go into that room, please?
Next year, revenue growth again will be a focus.
Thank you for giving me blood.
Thank you for giving me shelter.
Thank you for saving my life.
Support the Red Cross and change a life, starting with your own.
I got no pulse. We're losing him.
Charging. He's in VFib.
Shock him.
Drives it road all the time. Just had a few drinks. This can't be happening.
Are we clear?
Clear.
You just buzzed.
Just buzzed. You didn't tell us that, sir. You're right. This isn't happening. He'll be fine.
I feel good.
Really?
No, not really.
Buzz driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal.
Shock him.
This financial advisor is being accused of committing one of the largest investment frauds in the history of the United States.
I guess we're not going to Aspen. That's fine. You see, I like tennis balls. He likes insider trading. So he's going to jail and I'm going to a shelter. And no, they're not the same thing. Shelters are for good pets that want to be adopted. Jails are for criminals. I've done nothing. Uh-oh. Ooh, okay, I stole a cheeseburger once. I'm a dog.
Welcome back to your MCTV Weekday Update.
Stacey, this is actually the last update of the year.
Oh, well, I don't know about you, Keith, but I am so relieved this semester is over.
Me too. I'm very excited. I graduate in a few days, so.
Oh, well, good luck in your job hunt.
Thank you. Thank you. That's all the time we have for today. We hope everyone enjoyed the Weekday Update throughout the semester.
We wish you a happy holiday, and we will see you next year.